All right, boys, we're back. We got the second season of Early Access showing up tomorrow. So, Dawn of the Hunt. So, this all looks pretty fun. There's some new classes, some new ascendancies, a bunch of new skill gems, a bunch of balancing and all sorts of stuff. So, it looks like a lot of fun. And I kind of wanted to just quickly go over the build that I'm going to start. Obviously, I will preface by saying this is not a build guide. There isn't enough information to make a guide for you to step-by-step follow just yet. I wanted to give you guys kind of an idea. Maybe if this is something that interests you, you can, I'll be back streaming again tomorrow every day. So if this is, maybe you want to do something like this, you can come tune into the stream, see where I'm headed. I'll release an update in, 4 or 5 days once I kind of get into maps and get a feeling for the real trajectory of the build. And we'll go there. But I do want to preface by saying this is not a flat out build guide. We only have so much information. But this is the idea. We are going to be starting Huntress Amazon, and we're going to be focusing heavily on critical strike chance and accuracy. So we'll be stacking a ton of that. And with this ascendancy, they synergize very well, and then also kind of boost each other throughout the leveling and all that kind of stuff. As you add more accuracy, you get more crit. As you add more crit, you get more accuracy, etc., etc. So that's what we're going to be going ahead and doing with this. We're going to be going off the rip. We're going to be trying to go pure fizz. So we're not going to be worrying about, leech and, the elemental infusion and all that kind of stuff. We are trying to go pure fizz. As last league, it was hands down the best damage type in the game. Typically, people were just converting it. So we're going to continue with that. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking Critical Strike, which is chance to hit with attacks can exceed 100%. So that, we'll be stacking the chance to always have 100% chance to hit. And then you gain additional critical hit chance equal to 25% of excess chance to hit with attacks. So as we add more accuracy over 100, that also starts adding to our Critical Strike chance, which is going to be really nice. Then we will go into Penetrate. Attacks using this weapon have added physical damage equal to 25% of the accuracy rating on the weapon. So we are going to be looking for accuracy on our weapon. You can get the hybrid fizz, you can get the fizz, percent fizz, and then in suffixes we'll look for the attack speed and critical strike chance. We get that local crit. So that's kind of what we'll be looking for on our weapon. As much accuracy as possible. That'll be really nice. And then we'll go for Predatory Instinct, reveal weakness against rare and unique enemies, 50% more damage against enemies with an open weakness. So that, that'll just be a nice damage modifier for bossing. And then in for the kill, which is going to give us 20% increased movement speed and 40% increased skill speed, so long as the enemy has an open weakness in our presence, right? So that's what we're going to be going with ascendancy-wise. What we'll do is we will take a look, and I will link this in the description, but Ziggy D made a nice video kind of showing some of the skills for spears, and so this is what we'll be using. And the two that I want to use here are at 832, we have Whirling Slash, and we have Twister Projectile. So it will be a melee kind of projectile hybrid, and we'll kind of dictate, maybe later we'll want to go full melee and kind of, spec in more into that. Or maybe, depending on how the skill works and how it feels and all that, we may end up speccing more into projectile. We'll just have to kind of see. But the plan is to go pure fizz with these two skills. I do have it muted just so that, I don't get hit with copyright or anything. But as you can see, he kind of runs in. You channel a... is this what? There you go. Like a bit of a whirling storm. And after you leave the storm, it detonates. So anything that's still in it, will get hit again with the detonation. So that's the first one. Looks pretty cool. Just kind of jump in, spin around a couple times, get out of there. And then we will tie that to Twister. And so, as you're cruising through, we can kind of be doing things, to packs as we're diving in. But what I'm really hoping, and we'll see if it functions this way, but I would really like for this to I'd like to scale it almost as a shotgun so that we can jump on a boss, do a bunch of damage, spin around, send out a bunch of tornadoes, do a bunch of damage, then dive out, let them do their mechanics, dive back in, do it again real quick. So I'm hoping that's the goal, is to have big crit and then big physical damage so we can just jump in, do a quick shotgun, get out. Movement looks really, really nice on this character. So that's kind of the vibe we're going for. We want to zip around, jump in, do a bunch of damage, zip out, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of the plan in my head. Obviously, all these things can change depending on how things function. But as you can see, you know, he's fighting a boss here. This is clearly elemental. In my head, I want to go pure fizz. If it turns out that it's just better as elemental, we'll deal with that when the time comes. But the plan is to go pure physical damage, crit, accuracy stacking. And you know, so again, I will link this in the description if you kind of want to go look. You know, there's a new, you know, a parry skill. There's pursuit and retreat supports. So I think this, you know, you can just kind of chase people down, chase things down, or get out of there, you know, all that kind of stuff. Explosive spear, lightning spear. There's some really cool abilities here. So if you guys want to come in and take a look, you know, by all means, go check out Ziggy D. He's fantastic, super smart dude. And he has a nice explanation of all these different skills. But like I said, I plan on going with Whirling Slash and Twister. So that's the combo that I'm most interested in. It just looks like a lot of fun. We'll see how it pans out. And then just really quickly, obviously, again, I don't have all of the skills and the gems and all that kind of stuff set up. But, you know, clearly if we're going Fizz, we'll be using things like Brutality and stuff like that. And we'll just kind of see where it goes. Again, this is not a build guide. This is just kind of a general idea of what I'm looking to do. And as you can see here, again, from my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the Huntress has the same starting point as the Ranger. It's just these initial nodes will change. And I'm not exactly sure what these will change to. I'm not sure it's been released. If it's been released, please just post in the comments down below. I'd like to take a look. Unfortunately, I would really like for them to be similar to this, just attack speed and evasion. The projectile damage stuff I could take or leave. You know, if chances are you don't even go through. If these nodes were to be the same, it would probably come through the evasion as opposed to the projectile. But again, if we go, you know, heavily projectile based, we will, you know, maybe take a look at some of the pierce and some of those types of things to see kind of how that interacts with the tornadoes. Outside of that, pretty standard stuff. You know, we're going to be chasing down a lot of crit, evasion. We will be going acrobatics, so no armor or energy shield here. We're going pure acrobatics. I know that, you know, I personally think that acrobatics at a very high level is the best form of defense, especially now that energy shield has been nerfed so heavily. I still think if you wanted to, you could easily go hybrid energy shield evasion, and then, you know, go grab your, you know, spectral ward and things like that to kind of do a hybrid version. I'm personally going to go pure evasion. I absolutely love acrobatics. I think it's OP as fuck, and I'm going to go ahead and go with that. Similar to all the builds last league, you do try to chase down as many jewel sockets as you possibly can. They're very, very powerful, so we do our best to kind of path through as many of those as possible. This is a level 93 with this tree here, so nothing crazy. You know, definitely attainable. And yeah, and as you can see, I think two of our big nodes here that we're going to be taking is Falcon Dive here, which is increased attack speed per accuracy, and then it's just crit chance and accuracy on the small nodes. And then down here, same thing, it's just accuracy and crit hit chance. And then we have attacks gain accuracy rate equal to their critical hit chance. So we're going to be trying to get as much accuracy and as much critical hit chance. And so, and I'm not sure when this calculation happens. I'm assuming that it is before the ascendancy calculation, but we'll just have to see how that kind of interacts. Again, if you guys know the answer to that, please let me know. But that is the plan. We'll come down here and grab some of the spear cluster, and that's about it. You know what I mean? Like we go with our acceleration. This cluster is very, very nice, especially, you know, for basically anything with increased skill speed. We get some movement speed here and some maim. So this is where we'll try to get a little CC and a little slow, because we won't have chill or freeze or anything like that. So we'll try to get a little bit of maim out of maiming strike, and then again you get the movement speed and stuff like that, which is nice and pretty hard to come by. And that's about it. You know, we take, you know, crit damage, all that kind of stuff. Depending on how much we spec into the projectile stuff, we may take a look at Kite Runner, especially if we're going to be using one of the unique jewels, you know, and we'll try to get as many large notables into the circle as possible, and then mana stuff, right? Again, because we're going to be scaling crit and not a ton of plus to projectile skill gems. We will, we'll try to work a couple in, but ideally we're scaling crit very, very heavily. We may or may not need both of these mana nodes, but I put them in here. I'd rather be prepped to put them in and have my points allocated and then be able to move them somewhere else, as opposed to putting them into a damage or an evasion node and then needing to move them into mana. So it's unlikely that we need both of these all the way into the end game. Maybe early we do, but I just wanted to put them in there just so that I was prepared to spend that many points on help with mana. So again, crit, evasion, some more crit stuff here, and accuracy, attack speed. We're going to want to get a bunch of decks and really get our attack speed up so we can get those whirlwinds and those tornadoes out as quickly as possible. And that's about it. So hopefully this was helpful. I didn't want to keep it super long. I just kind of wanted to make a quick one so that you guys, for those of you guys that are going to be in stream tomorrow, you kind of have an idea of what I'm going to do. Maybe it interests you, maybe it doesn't, or maybe you haven't tuned into the stream ever before, and this is something that interests you. And we'll see you tomorrow. I'll be on early so we can get our filter all built out, and maybe we'll have some new information so that we can kind of refine this a little bit more. But that's it, guys. So again, I just want to preface, I said at the start of the video, this is not an absolute build guide. This is just an idea. I personally, even if all the information was out, I typically don't like to come in here and make my build in POB before I play it. I like to come up with the general concept and then go figure it out as I go in the game. That's just a more fun way for me to play it. I'd like to get a little more info, but this is good enough to get me started. And I hope this was helpful. Maybe it gives you some ideas. Maybe it gives you an idea of what you absolutely don't want to do, or whatever the case is. Make sure you go check out Ziggy D and check out that video if you want to see some of the other skills. And I'm excited to hang out with you guys tomorrow again, be back in the game. And I appreciate you all. Like, subscribe, the whole thing. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, guys.